What's up guys, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I'm going to do a walkthrough of a kayak that I've been using lately. This is the Perception Showdown. It's an 11.5 foot kayak. It weighs about 90 pounds and it is 36 inches wide. Also has a weight capacity of 450 pounds, and these kayaks retail for about 2,300 bucks. So they're definitely on the lower end as far as a pedal kayak goes, as far as cost goes. As you can see, it is a pedal kayak. It has a prop drive system, so you can easily go forward and easily go in reverse just by, going the opposite direction with the pedals. So I'll sort of work front to back here, showing you what comes standard on the kayak, and then show you what I have added myself, just to customize the kayak a little bit for myself. So as you can see up front here, you don't have a hatch, but you do have a sort of bag, hard bag, that comes standard with the kayak. And if you wanted to, you could take it off just by removing the bungees here, and then you'll have a nice open tank up front. So if you wanted to put your tackle box up there, you could do so, or cooler, small cooler, or anything like that. But it does have a paddle park up front, so if you're standing and paddling, you can slide the paddle into the paddle park up there, or if you're sitting down, you could slide it into there as well. Now with this bag, it's not completely waterproof. Water can get in through the zippers and the seams, so I wouldn't recommend putting anything that you don't want to get wet in here, unless you put it in a dry bag and then put it inside, or a small dry box. And then moving down to the middle, sort of the console area, as you can see, there is some padding, some mat down here, so nice grip when you're standing up and fishing. This kayak is plenty stable to stand up and fish from. And then you have your drive up front. And just to quickly show how this works here, as far as deploying it, there's this pin right here. Pull that pin out, pull this pin out, and then if we were on the water, you would just pull the drive down, and that would make it go straight up and down. And then you would just put the pin back in like so, and then put this clip in to make sure that pin doesn't fall out, and that's how you would deploy the drive there. And then in the middle here, you have a console. This console right here is nice, so you can basically screw whatever types of attachments or accessories you want into it. In this case, I put a little phone holder so I can have my phone right in front of me while I'm pedaling. So if I'm navigating or just want to play music or whatever the case may be, I have it right there in front of me. And this comes off with the bungees, as you can see there, and there is the prop. When this is pushed all the way up, it's completely into the hole, which is nice. So you can go really shallow and paddle if you needed to. So nice feature there, getting the prop and everything up out of the way into the hole, so you can go very shallow and paddle. Then on either side of the kayak, you have tracks, gear tracks on one side and the other. These are metal. What I like about the metal tracks is that when you attach something to it, you have less likelihood of that attachment falling off. When you have plastic tracks, what happens is, if you have a rod holder or something like that, if there's too much tension on the rod holder, let's say a big fish strikes while you have the rod in the rod holder, you run the risk of it popping out of those plastic tracks. So having these metal tracks is definitely nice. And then going back to the middle console here, where I have this phone holder, this is made by Ram Mounts. It's the X Grip. Works really well. If you're one of our insider members, keep in mind you do get a discount. We have a discount code for you on your homepage, so definitely be sure to check that out. And now on each side of these tracks, on each side of the kayak, I have these paddle clips that are made by Railblaza. On this side, I like to use these to hold my anchor stick while I'm on the water. I can easily just pick it up and anchor up if I need to, and then lay it back down, and then I am good to go. And then on the other side, as you can see, that's where I have my paddle clipped on. You always want to have a paddle with you, even if you have a pedal kayak, because if something happens with the pedals, you're going to need that paddle to get yourself out of trouble. And then the seat here, this is a nice comfortable seat, big seat. It's made out of mesh. You can adjust it here with these straps. It clips into this base with bungees to keep it secure, and this base here actually slides forward and back. So if you need to adjust it to, you know, properly get to the pedals, you can just adjust it on either side. There are these little bolts that you would screw in or loosen, and then you can slide it forward or back. And then it also has different holes you can put the bolts into for even more of an adjustment. So definitely helps to get the right seating area for using the pedals. And then this is your rudder control. You only have a rudder control on one side, which is the left side of the kayak. And then these bins here, this bin is used to hold a tackle box. You know, one of those hard clear tackle boxes can fit right in there. And then on either side, you have that on both sides, and then on both sides you have rod holders. These are angled, which I like, because if you do happen to flip the kayak, if you had a rod holder that was sticking straight up, you have more of a risk of breaking your rod. So it keeps them angled out to the back. Also, keeping them angled out to the back keeps them out of the way while you're casting. And you can store 2 rods on each side, so 4 total. And then in the back tank well, nice and big tank area. You can keep your tackle box, cooler, whatever you need in the back here, and bungees to keep your stuff secured down. Then in the back you have your rudder, and you also have a hatch here to access your rudder. That way if any of the lines have issues, you can get in there and access that. Then a small bungee to keep your rudder secure while transporting. Just make sure you do unhook that when you get on the water, that way you can deploy your rudder. Now lastly, as far as some items that I have added personally to the kayak myself, number 1 is an anchor trolley. This is definitely helpful when you're anchoring up, so that you can change your positioning from either having the anchor up to the front, or if you want to slide it down and have your anchor in the back. And that will depend on the current and the wind, which can help you with positioning, because you're pretty much limited to facing one direction in a kayak. You know, you're either facing forward or sort of to the side. You can't really turn around unless you have really good balance while you're standing up. You can turn around, but for the most part, you're going to be facing wherever the nose is facing. And then in the back here, I have added an extra track to the back here just to put that extra, you know, paddle holder, so I can put my anchor pin in there. Then I've added a rod holder to the back just in case if I do need to add one there. And then in the back here, I've added another mount. This is a Mighty mount by Yak Attack, and this is where I put my actual light post if I'm out fishing, you know, in low light conditions, or really early in the morning or at night. So that will wrap up this video walkthrough of the Perception Showdown. Great budget-friendly kayak if you're in the market for a pedal drive kayak and don't want to spend, you know, $3,000 to $4,000 on one of the more expensive kayaks. This one can definitely get the job done for you. And if you are one of our insider members, you may see me out on the water using this for our insider reports, where I go out and show exactly where I'm fishing, what I'm using, and why I'm fishing a specific area based on the conditions and the trends. So definitely be sure to check out those insider reports. And if you're not an insider member, highly recommend checking that out. You can go to saltstrong.com/pricing to see if you're a fit to join the insider club. So definitely be sure to check that out, or you can click the link right down below. So that will wrap up this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them down below.